Hey guys, my name is Prosci and you're welcome. Welcome guys to a new sit down episode. The reason for this episode, and as you can see in the title of the video in itself, is that I wanted to do an updated change management video, right? And since my last video, I think I left one job. I left one job, so the environments are very different, expectations are very different. So I just wanted to give you guys an updated view of the work that I'm currently doing. So for those who didn't see the first video, what is change management? Basically, it's the process of us applying behavioral science knowledge into the workplace so that we can improve productivity and make sure that everybody's working efficiently and effectively as possible. Whether that includes processes, whether it's changing the culture, whether it's introducing new technologies, we come in to bridge the gap between the project team as well as the people or the end users that have to sort of embrace and adopt that change. Change management has a lot of layers to it, right? You're working with people, so you have to do various activities and gather a lot of information to scope the change. What is the change about? What are we trying to achieve? And what is the end goal? And what are the success factors that we'll use to actually measure whether the change is successful or it's not successful. So let's start with the qualifications. So what do you have to study in order to be in change management? I'll focus on my career journey or study journey, and then also just touch on the different other ways that you can be in change management. So for me, I did my undergrad in general psychology, and then in my honors level, I then focused on industrial psychology. So within industrial psychology, they do touch on organizational development as well as a component of change management, because we're using behavioral science, like I did say, in the workplace to see how we can use that to influence more productive work environments. After my honors year, I got an opportunity to work, right? So I started my internship in change management. I was quite fortunate because it then had a focus in change management, and I was able to sort of specialize within that. So in my career, I've had an opportunity then to certify as or be a certified change practitioner. That means that I went through a training program with a reputable training provider, and I'm saying that for a particular reason, which I'll touch on later. But basically, I went through that training and then I was a certified change practitioner. So that's the journey that I've had, and basically now I'm just gathering other skills and doing other trainings to help me get an understanding of other areas, especially within the industry that I'm in, to just manage projects and manage the change in itself. So I specifically want to talk about certifying. So it's really important to understand that not everybody can give you a certification in change management. I know that UCT and other organizations, through their online learning platforms, they do provide training courses within change management, but that doesn't certify you as a change practitioner. So there are specific training partners that can give you that certification. So if you are looking to do that, please do look out and do proper research on who can provide you with that certification. In my experience, or for myself, I did get an opportunity to train with And Change, that is A&D Change. I'll put it here on the screen. So if you are looking to get a training partner, they were quite good, and yeah, I was able to certify. If you are trying to pay for it in an individual capacity, it is quite pricey. These courses can be quite expensive. So usually people request it through work, because if the organization is paying, as part of the development process, then that you can leverage off of that. But if you are looking to do it in an individual capacity, the last time I did mine was, I think it was about 30,000. So I'm not sure if the prices have increased since then, but you can explore that if you have the chankura. If not, maybe you can suggest it to your employer if that's something that you want to explore. methodology that I subscribe to or kind of use as a framework to guide my process in terms of managing projects and the change part of it is Prosci. And Prosci then provides the structure and methodology on how to manage the projects. So with Prosci, there are 3 phases that they highlight, right? They say you start with preparing the change. When you're preparing the change, that's when you're scoping the change. That's when you're doing your change impact assessments to understand what is the level of impact on the people that need to either use a solution or work in a different location. That also involves a very detailed stakeholder mapping to also understand who are those people that are going to be impacted. So it's gathering all that information, what resources are available, who is going to be doing what, who's expected to do what, because our job is not to then take the responsibility of other areas. Our job is to capacitate and empower the different areas to then do their work and embrace the change. So that's phase 1. We prepare for the change. According to Prosci, then we go to phase 2, which is then managing the change. So that involves the process of then using the information that you captured or gathered in your impact assessments and all these other assessments that you're doing to then build the change plans. So the change plans are your activities that you will detail out to explain that this is what you will do to create awareness, this is what you'll do to make sure that people are trained, this is what you'll do to create desire, this is what you'll do to also reinforce and also deal with resistance in your projects. And then you just implement those activities. So that's phase 2. Phase 3 is reinforcing change, and reinforcing change is basically like a loop. What are you going to do to see whether the change was effective? If there are any gaps, what are you going to do to close those gaps so that the people move from the current state to the desired future state? So it also involves celebrating successes as well. It's very important for us to not always just be focused on the end goal and say that if people have not completely used the system, then we've failed. You find that there's a gradual uptake of the change in itself. So you have to have gates on where we celebrate successes. And that also encourages people to stay on with the project and really continue to be involved and collaborate and also just be part of the journey. One of the other things that I like to sort of use in my engagements to explain the change management experience is that the technical team, and I'm also going to focus this on a tech environment because that's what I'm in right now, is that from a tech perspective or project perspective, their role is to design, develop, and deliver the solution. So they are the ones who are going to do this, what do they call it? Systems analysis, all of these things, business analysis, the design of it, they make sure that it's built and it suits the needs of the operations of the organization. Our job is to then take that to the people to make sure that it's embraced, adopted, and used. It's very unfortunate that sometimes projects are labeled as not successful because a solution was built and it's just sitting on the shelf and it's not being used. So there's a lot of change activity in terms of aligning the current processes with the future processes to make sure that the new solution that is being introduced fits well into the current processes. And also, how do we then move people away from the legacy system and have them adopt the new system? So that's the thinking that we need to have. That's the process that we need to plan for to get the people from current state to desired future state. So like I did mention, change management is quite different. And in my experience, it's been fairly different in the different organizations that I've worked in. Currently now, because I'm in the tech space, there is a requirement to have a much more deeper involvement in understanding the development of the solution, as well as supporting with the testing of it as well. So before it's used by everybody else in the organization, we have to first test it with some users to see whether it's working. If there are any bugs or defects, we have those resolved before it's used by everybody else. So it's been very different. It's been very challenging is what I'd say, because now I'm able to troubleshoot in sessions and think, okay, what can we do to maybe resolve this quickly? So I'm working very closely with developers and business analysts and QAs and all these people who are sort of working on putting this solution together. Overall, change management, I really do think, is a really great area to be in. You don't necessarily have to be an expert in the core business, but you are able to go into various industries and career paths with change management. So that's very interesting. I guess I've worked in the insurance industry, I've worked in supply chain, now in finance. So you can go into a lot of very different areas and be a change support in there. So it's quite exciting. It's been quite a great experience. So that's my experience thus far, and I guess we'll do another updated one after some time, and just to give you guys some experiences that I've had. Okay guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. It is an updated video, so if you are interested in knowing more about change management, you can let me know in the comments down below if there's any specific content or specific information that you'd like to know. But I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a good evening, a good day, or a good night. Bye.